we'll just sit here and see how long this takes. One person's here. I can't tell who it is. I'll just see number one. Probably. So if I click on the other link. Click on the other link I sent you and it'll bring you into the stream. Maybe their first hour virtual teacher is holding them late. There we go. All right. Morning. Good morning. Caden is joining too. Caden's live from the classroom. There we are. Wait now, Sydney? She's a slacker. We'll give a couple minutes.
Herr Weaver, I locked my door so there's no more people in my house.
You locked your family out of your house?
Well, last time you said there were strangers in my house, so I made sure to lock the doors this time.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy. It was like a horror movie, like where everything's going normal, and then all of a sudden, like a figure like just walks by, and you're like, "Whoa!" Like a jump scare, but it's in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know who that was, but I hope they didn't take anything valuable. Sydney, does she play soccer today? What's going on today? Are they gone today? Okay. Let's see. Let's pull this up. I sent you that. If you have this pulled up on your. It's like we're doing a news broadcast. It's like I'm really live streaming. I'm a real Twitcher. Is that a word? A Twitcher? Twitcher. What do you call somebody who does Twitch videos? Twitcher. Not Twitcher? I like Twitcher better. Twitch streamer. I'm like a Twitch streamer. All right, I'm gonna knock you guys off here now. There we go. I know, it's like, man, I'm really twitching right now. Yeah. Okay. Practice test. This, no surprises. This is what the test is going to look like. So if I call on you, just unmute your mic. Other than you, Caden. Keep yours muted because I can hear you just fine. It'll be like being at a rock concert when the guitar player puts the guitar towards the amplifier. Little Eddie Van Halen action. All right, das ist Nummer 1. Die Stelle blank, ich möchte, bringt ein hohes Gehalt. Well, let's just deal with the part around the blank. The rest of the information after the second comma is not important to figuring out which relative pronoun we want to use. So, if you can hear my voice, hear this. Hold on, let me bring everybody back in now. How do I do this? All right. When it's a noun like this one, die Stelle, your choices are, I'm looking at the chart so I don't miss one. Der, die, das, den, dame, possibly damen, if it's plural dative. That's not the case here. Oh, there's Sydney. Sydney, look at that. See how we did that? So we went to 5 squares. So don't write anything else in the blank unless it's not a normal noun, like it's a word like everything or much or, yeah. So there's other choices, but don't be putting other words in the blanks like verbs and nouns and all kinds of stuff like that. We'll see the other examples here in a minute. So let me, pull it back up here. So those are your only choices. And this is what you get for 16 grand a year. I keep telling you. You think the kids at Webster have this kind of luxury? Where have you been? I've been using this all year, even last year. All right. So die Stelle blank ich möchte. Well, know this, that ich has to be the subject of the sentence, because ich and every other pronoun, we usually ich, du, those have to be subjects. They're nominative case pronouns. Nominative equals subject. So we've already got a subject here, but what's going to be, I'm talking about the job that I would like. Jace, what do you think?
Would it be, is it D?
It's B.
Yeah.
Right. Because B stays D. It's the accusative case. It's the job you would like. So, ich möchte die Stelle would be this sentence. If this were a sentence on its own, ich möchte die Stelle, but we can replace that with just the word die and make it our answer. And this would translate something like, the job which I would like has a high salary. Hohes Gehalt. Okay, this one's a little trickier because you gotta know the gender of sector. If it's, I mean, I can tell a little bit about it here, but ich arbeite in einem Sektor. So here it's in the dative case, in a preposition, in a prepositional phrase, ich in einem Sektor. Now it gets a fresh start though when we after the comma. It could be anything now in this next part of the sentence. Blank immer größer wird. Immer, that's getting bigger and bigger. But what's the gender of sector? We have that word, but Grayson, what's the gender of sector?
Isn't it D?
No.
Oh, is it der?
It's der. Very good.
Okay, yeah.
So in the relative clause, that's the part after the comma, we don't have a subject yet, and it's got to have a subject. Let's make it the subject. So what would that be? What's masculine? You just told me the answer.
Is it den?
No, that would be a direct object.
It's considered extremely threatening. So apparently you can say, have a nice day, and it would be considered polite, right?
All right, somebody needs to turn off their... Someone needs to mute their mic. Yeah, I think we took care of that. What's it going to be, Grayson? What's the subject? What's the nominative? You just told me the answer, actually, by telling me the gender.
Der?
Der, right. Because der is the nominative form of for masculine words, right? Nominative is subject.
Yeah.
And in this part of the sentence, the dependent or relative clause, sector is the subject. So I'm working in a sector which is always growing or always getting bigger. Okay. Nummer 3. Das Büromaterial blank Sie im Schreibtisch haben ist teuer. Okay. But here's all we got to worry about is this right here. Well, let's go all the way to the beginning. The ist teuer part, that doesn't affect us any. But I'm going to say something else about the what is Büromaterial? Kaden, what's Büromaterial? Yeah, what's a bureau? Also a popular TV series, but they just took it off Netflix recently. I'm so upset about it. It's on Peacock or something.
Oh, it's The Office.
Office material, which office supplies, can I say that? Yeah. Okay. So das Büro, in Germany, that show's called Das Büro. Why not? So Büromaterial, I want to say something else about the Büromaterial. And what am I saying about it? I'm saying you have some in your, what's a Schreibtisch? So the office supply, or it's a singular word in German, blank Sie am Schreibtisch haben. Well, Sie is the subject because you're the one who has the stuff in your desk. So the Büromaterial must be the direct object. It's what you have in your desk. So look at the chart and tell me what happens to das words when it goes to the accusative case. What? In the accusative case. Okay. So look at das and what happens in the accusative case. Oh, okay. See the neuter, das is the neuter, right? Still das. I got it. Okay, we should memorize that chart. I should just have like a quiz where I just give you like a blank chart and you just fill it out. Of course, put some kind of veil over these things in the classroom. All right. See, this makes a difference on Nummer 4 compared to Nummer 1. Die Stelle, blank ich jetzt habe, hat ein niedriges Gehalt. Well, earlier, the position that you wanted is going to have a high salary. This is the one that you have now, though. Die Stelle, blank ich jetzt habe. Well, let's just stick with this right here. Second comma, as far as we need to go, really. Die Stelle, blank ich jetzt habe, that I have now. Well, here's the subject again, just like it was here. So, die Stelle, and you have that job, so it must be the what? It's what you have. What do we call that in grammar? The DO. And the DO is accusative case. Look on the chart, Caden. What do D words change to in the accusative case? Stays D. In fact, as I look at it, only 1 out of the 4 words changes. Right? Which one? From nominative to accusative. Der changes to Dane, right? So we haven't had a masculine. Well, we did have a masculine word, but it stayed nominative, or it became nominative. Okay, so die Stelle, die ich jetzt habe. Okay, die Frau blank ich kenne. This is very similar to the one we just did, actually. What do you think, Sydney? Number 5.
Would it be die ich kenne?
That's right. The woman, we would probably say the woman who I know. We wouldn't say the woman which I know, but that sounds like we're not being nice. Die Frau, but in German we just use the same relative pronoun. Ich is the subject, but die stays die as we just said in the accusative case. And just keep it like that. Now, anybody remember what der Hefter is? Jace, der Hefter? I'll give you a hint. You can't see this. That's der Hefter.
Oh, the stapler?
Yeah. Hey, this would be a great way to teach. I'm going to start teaching you sound effects. Right. Okay, wo ist der Hefter? Now I'm going to say something else about der Hefter.
So it's going to be,
Gestern hier auf den Tisch hatte.
it's just going to be der again?
No, because here's the subject. I have a subject already, ich.
Oh.
So if I had it here on the table, what does der Hefter become in this relative clause?
Dane?
Dane, because I don't have it, but I had it. That's past tense, hatte. But still, we treat it the same way. It's what you had, and den, and that's why it goes to accusative case. It's the do. And it's the subject over here in the first part of the sentence. It's the do within the relative clause, so der Hefter changes to den Hefter. Okay. Ich mache eine Ausbildung. Who remembers what Ausbildung is? I know these words go back a few weeks. Ich mache eine Ausbildung. Anyone? Anyone? It's training. Yeah. I got the word dry twice there. Let me change that. All right. Training, but not like extra training. It could be extra training, like you already have the job and they're going to train you some more. But it could be like the training and preparation, like you're going to school for this, right? Maybe doing a school and a practicum. What do you call that? An internship, whatever. But ich mache eine but the gender, I can already tell the gender by the article, eine Ausbildung. What's the gender of that? Feminine, yeah. Eine only occurs with feminine words, so I know it's feminine. And here it's the direct object. I'm doing training, but now and it changes. It gets a fresh start after the comma. It could be a subject. It could be. But let's see what we got. We got 3 Jahre lang. That tells me how long it's going to last. Here's the verb ist. So I need a subject here. What's the nominative form of feminine words? Die. That's right. Ich mache eine Ausbildung, die 3 Jahre lang ist. So long. Well, I mean, college is 4 years long. Okay. Anybody remember who their Geschäftsführer is? He's not an officer in World War II. Hitler was only a corporal in the army. Corporal in World War I. Then he's running the whole show. But that's called climbing the ladder. Der Geschäftsführer. If I remember what that means, there's a better word. There's a more common word, and it's actually an English word that they borrowed from us. What is Geschäftsführer? Anyone know? Anybody, just unmute yourself.
Like a boss?
Yes, in a way. I think the better translation is manager. And so that was a good guess because boss also they use the word der Boss, and they also use the word der Manager. This actually would be, I think, translates as manager better. But anyway, we're going to talk about das ist der Geschäftsführer. So we got a masculine word. And I got a subject in the relative clause. Ich sah, I saw, and what or who you saw would have to be the what? Direct object. So look up there. Der in the accusative case becomes den. Der Geschäftsführer, das ist der Geschäftsführer, den ich gestern sah. That's the manager that I saw yesterday. Okay, because I got a subject and I need a DO here. Good. Here ist das Formular blank du unterschreibst. So, nein, unterschreiben is to sign, like your signature. I think we have that word. And Formular, I'm going to give you a hint what Formular means if you don't know, right? There. Oh, it's a form. Thank you. It's a form. Here's das Formular. And I got a subject already. I'm signing this thing. You're signing the form. So you're the subject, and the what of the sentence is the form, right? So that's a DO, right? What happens to das words in the accusative case? There's a chance to redeem yourself. Huh? Das. Good. Because it's the DO. It's in this part of the sentence, it's the DO. Der Film. Now I want to say something else about the film. And in fact, like I say, if there's 2 commas, we can just kind of cut it short. We can talk about something more about it later, but der Film blank wir sahen. Well, wir has to be the subject. Wir's one of our nominative pronouns. And we saw, what do we see? That's all I'm going to talk about. So that must be the DO then. It's what we saw. So der words change to, and they're DOs.
Den.
Den. Thank you. Ja, den. Der Film, den wir sahen. We would say the film that we saw or which we saw. And what if you want to know, what's that mean? Is sehr realistisch. That's a great word. Okay. Der Chef. Let's see. Because it depends on what happens after the comma. Is it the subject? Der Chef becomes the subject or direct object or whatever. Der Chef blank heute nicht im Büro ist. Do we have a subject here? Im Büro is a preposition of in the office. Ist is the verb waiting for a subject to join it. I don't see a subject there. Heute nicht im Büro ist. No. So we need a subject. What's the subject or nominative? What form of well, it's a trick question again. What happens to, what are der words? What are der words in the nominative case? This der, that's a self-evident question. Okay, so der Chef, der heute nicht im Büro ist, kommt aus Rumänien. So the boss who's not in the office today, kommt aus Rumänien. He's from Romania. Okay. Another easier one. Das Buch, blank ich lese. Let's just stop there because what else they want to say about the book is kind of irrelevant. We want to say das Buch. And do I have a subject in this after the first comma? Ich. I got a verb. And it's the book that I'm reading. So the book must be I'm doing the reading of the book.
The DO.
The DO. So what happens to das words when they become accusative? They say das. They just say das. That's it. Das Buch, das ich lese, ist sehr interessant. Now that's good information, but doesn't affect our answer. Der Mann blank mir eine Empfehlung schrieb. Remember what an Empfehlung or Empfehlung schreiben? Something somebody would write for you. Anybody? We have the word Empfehlung schreiben, but Empfehlung is what's found within that writing. You would include this with your application or your resume. Anyone? All right. Empfehlung is a recommendation. Well, look what we got going on here. We've got a indirect object, mir, because he wrote it for me. Here's what he wrote. This can't be the subject because a recommendation can't write itself. It's what the man wrote so that's the DO. It's what he wrote. So we need a subject in the sentence. We got a verb, wrote, me, a recommendation. Again, what's the nominative of man? Der. So he is the subject of this relative clause. Der Mann, der, mir. If it were its own sentence, it would be der Mann schrieb mir eine Empfehlung. this would be the two sentences if we were going to blend them together. Der Mann kennt mich gut. He knows me well. Der Mann schrieb mir eine Empfehlung. Good. Das Interview, underline this here. Das Interview, blank ich gestern hatte, war interessant. What do you think? Very good. And it's something that I had yesterday. So if it's what I had, it's going to be a direct object. What happens to, one more time, Caden, what happens to das words in the accusative case? They say das. Let it be known that Caden has redeemed himself. All right. He's back in good graces of the chart. Okay. Now I've got this, now I see, ich kenne den Bewerber. Who's the Bewerber? What's a Bewerber? It's a person now.
Like
No.
an applicant.
Applicant, right. Ich kenne den Bewerber. So in that first sentence, on the first independent clause, it's obviously the direct object. I know, and you see no because there changes to den. I know the applicant, but it could be all different after the comma. Blank, wir morgen 8 Uhr interviewen. Say again? Actually, here's the subject, we're doing what? Interviewing. What's interviewing? That's a verb. We're interviewing the applicant tomorrow when? 8 a.m. Okay, so here we got a subject. So the Bewerber in the relative clause must be it's who we're interviewing. Huh? Right. The person you're interviewing will be the DO because we're doing the interviewing and you're the direct object. So what happens? It's der Bewerber. What happens to der words? Den. So it's den on both sides. I know the applicant. We're interviewing the applicant tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Right. So ich kenne den Bewerber. Then den wir, who, we probably say who we're interviewing tomorrow at 8, or that we're interviewing tomorrow at 8. Okay. This is a similar one. Anyone know what a termin is? A termin? I had the word last year, a termin calendar. Anybody?
A meeting?
Yeah, it could be. It's just an appointment, okay? It could be that. So, but let's say, das ist der Termin, blank ich immer vergesse. I always forget it. And so ich, again, is the subject of the relative clause. Here's my verb. It goes with ich vergesse. Immer is just an adverb, always. But if what is it that I'm always forgetting? The appointment, der Termin, right? But in this sentence, though, it's what I'm forgetting. So it must be the DO. So, das ist der Termin, den ich immer vergesse. Because if it has a subject and you can narrow it down, then it's got to be, it could be an indirect object. I don't think I have any of these today. I'll have some tomorrow, but it's going to be a subject, direct object, indirect object. I'm going to skip. Well, actually, the next one is what I want to do. This one is one of the exceptions where we don't use the der, die, das, den, der, all that, because it's what do they call this in the book? I love that word. I forget now what it is. Like indefinite nouns or something like that. What does alles mean? Alles. Alles. Alle means everybody,
everything,
everything. So that's what they call it, indefinite noun. I think that was the word they used in the book. I like that. Like something, everything, nothing, much, little. Yeah, it's kind of unclear. Like, what is everything? What is nothing? But it's still a noun, though. But we use a certain word to refer back to words like that. Alles, nichts, wenig, viel. You might remember what that, it's still a relative pronoun, but it's a word you already know, though. But what would it be? Hast du alles blank du bringst? We just talked about it a couple times, but I don't think we did any exercises with it, though. You remember? We use this word, was. Yeah, like it means what normally. So they're like saying, literally, do you have everything what you're bringing? When do we use was as opposed to der, die, das, den, dame, all the other? Here's the words that can set off das. Alles, we just saw. Alles. Oops. I'm going to make this a small a, if it'll let me. Alles, etwas, nichts. Okay? Everything, something, nothing. Alles, etwas, nichts. And then two words we don't use a whole lot. Well, one of them we do, but viel, which means much or a lot. A lot is really like relative, right? I have a lot of money. Well, for some people, that's $10. For some people, that a lot is not $10. Viel, okay, a lot or much. And then, yeah, it depends on what school I'm teaching at. And wenig, which is the opposite of a lot, a little. So ich habe wenig Geld, ich habe viel Geld. But if this is the indefinite noun you see before the comma, you're going to go with this. So I'm going to do it like this. Let me see if I can make this all fancy like. Let me see what kind of, yeah. There we go. Relative pronoun is was. That's our relative pronoun. For those, 5 words there. How can I make this more dynamic? Let me see here. Let me see if I can. Oh. Here we go. No, I don't want that. I just want it to be, look at that. That's right. Okay. Now, let's skip to, while we're talking about that, to number 20, last one. Es gibt nicht viel. There isn't a lot or much. Blank wir nicht essen. There's not a lot. Blank we don't eat. But here we go. Here's my word, viel. Is that one of my words up here? So what's going to go here? Was. So in German, it sounds weird, but there's not a lot what we don't eat. That doesn't sound so bad. But if someone spoke that way, you would say, hey, what country are you from? It wouldn't sound native sounding. Okay. Was wir nicht essen. All right, I'm going to back up because I skipped over this, but this is another possible exception. When we talk about a location, we don't want to use the relative pronoun die or der or whatever it might be because the word is die Stadt. Anybody want to take a guess? Remember what we've used for location.
Wo.
Blank, wir wohnten.
Is it wo?
Wo is right. So when we talk about a location, we can use wo. It works just like a relative pronoun, push the verb to the end here. But is that the city where we lived? That sounds more like English. You could say something like, is that the city in which we lived and all that? But, that's wo works easier and just as well. Okay, there's a couple more there we didn't do, but we can look at those if we have time some other time. I'm going to skip over this just because of the sake of time to the number 28. So we have a word bank here. Where's the word bank? Did I erase it? No. Here it is. Not really word bank, but so der Bewerber hat ein Interview mit dem Personalchef. Die Bewerberin, now this is going to be a big hint here, that it's a Bewerberin as opposed to this one's a Bewerber. But so die Bewerberin sucht eine Stelle in der Zeitung, that's a certain place. Die Assistentin, IN again, die ist jetzt am Telefon. Die Frau hilft der Bewerberin bei ihrem Lebenslauf. Die Studentin beginnt heute mit ihrem Praktikum bei der Firma. Remember the word Praktikum? You're doing it on the job by der Firma. And the last one, it should say, well, I think it should say Geschäftsführerin schreibt ein Empfehlungsschreiben. They're writing what we talked about earlier. So we look at the pictures here. Let me pull that up so we have a look at more. Okay, so let's look at the first picture. Is this person on a computer typing? Let's see which one goes with that. We can talk about a computer. An interview? What's this? What's in der Zeitung? What's that refer to? What's the Zeitung? We had the word Zeitung's kiosk, didn't we, or something like that? What's a Zeitung? How many people read the Zeitung anymore? That at least like
It's like a newspaper.
it's not like a newspaper. It is a newspaper.
Oh yeah.
I'm teasing. So that's not it, because there's no newspaper in that picture. Ist jetzt am Telefon? No, that person's not on the phone right now. In that picture. Look at these. What's it going to be?
Would it be E?
E. Die Studenten beginnt ein Praktikum. Let's see here. It looks like this person's just their hands on the computer. Like they're typing something.
Maybe F.
F, I think definitely. Die Geschäftsführerin schreibt, I think they're writing a recommendation letter. Well, 31 is different. Let's wait till we get there. That's not that they're not writing a recommendation letter here in 30. Oh, 31. Oh, okay, that's something else also, sorry. No, and that's a bit tricky, but I see that, I know you can't see it, because, well, maybe you can on your, it says Lebenslauf on the top of that page there. If you just kind of, but look at 29 though. Now, what's that from? Where are those pieces of paper from? It looks like what Stellenangebot. Sorry, say it again.
Is it B?
Which I gotta look down again. B, yeah, because that's from the newspaper. And the applicant sucht, looking for eine Stelle in der Zeitung. And in fact, it says in the paper, Stellenangebote. So that means these are job offerings. Good. This one here, got a guy sitting across the desk from another person. It looks like an interview to me. Let's look at the options here. I think you're right. Yeah. Der Bewerber hat ein Interview mit dem Personalchef. Who's the Personalchef? We have Geschäftsführer. We have Personalchef. We have Manager. 9. Personal is the personnel director, right? HR. A is right, though. A is definitely right. Let's look at this one here. And I kind of gave this away because if you look at it closely, you can see, I have to find a better picture for this for the test. It's a Lebenslauf. So it's a resume, and that's got to go with which one? This actually says the woman's helping the applicant with her resume. That's hard to demonstrate that in a picture. We'll go with that then. Next one. Okay, we got this on telephone. Is that one of our options? Good. Yes, it's Fenton. It's jetzt am Telefon. And last one. Oh, what we're left over with. Looks like it looks to me like a younger woman being introduced to these two people who are actually more dressed up than she is. And that's 31. What do you think here?
D.
Yeah. 990, we just use that one.
E.
E. The student, what's she beginning today? Not practice, but
Her internship.
right, internships. It looks like you guys in Minister, you know? There you go. Die Studentin beginnt heute mit ihrem Praktikum bei der Firma. And she's being introduced around to people. Some of these are kind of hard to demonstrate in one picture, but some of them not so much. But okay, I'm going to cut you guys loose, okay? Or not okay? Well, hang around. I'm not even sure that's really Sydney that's there. How would I know? Could be her sister. No, she
I'm
sounds good.
here.
I know. All right. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll have, oh, they're already gone. It doesn't matter. All right. They cut right out, man.
I'm still here.
You're going to get credit for that too.
Yes.
Look at that. Make your picture bigger.
All right.
Okay, man.
See you tomorrow. Bye. Tschüss.